Hey, Reading Christian Fellowship. We are coming down to the very end of our study of the life of the warrior poet king, looking at the life and ministry of King David in the Old Testament. We're actually coming down to one of the last chapters in his life. We'll take some time and we'll look at some of the stuff that he wrote. We'll look at some Psalms over the next several weeks, and then we'll come back and we'll wrap up the journey of his life. But as we look at the next section, this next chapter that we're going to look at this Sunday, we come to this amazing song that David writes. And he writes it right towards the end of his life. A lot of scholars think that this is the last psalm that David wrote. And it starts off with this little description. It starts off by saying, "And David spoke to the Lord the words of this song on the day when the Lord delivered him from the hand of all his enemies and from the hand of Saul." It's amazing. So David is towards the end of his life, and he reflects on all that God has done. And his response is to praise God for his deliverance, because God had delivered him from the hand of all his enemies. As you and I walk through our life today, particularly now, it feels at times like there are enemies surrounding us. Sometimes those enemies are outside of us, but sometimes those enemies are within us. And as we take time this Sunday, we're going to look to see how God delivered David and David's response as David looks back, as David looks around, and as David looks ahead. Because David looks back and sees what God had done and remembers what God has done. David looks around and sees God at work in him right now. And he looks ahead and remembers, once again, not the past, but remembers what God had promised in the past and will do in the future. And so it's as we look at these things, as we look at how God delivered David from the hand of all his enemies, as we look at David looking back, looking around, and looking ahead, that we will find hope for today. And so this Sunday is going to be amazing as we look at 2 Samuel chapter 22, which is the same, almost word for word, as Psalm 18. And so this Sunday you can come, you can laugh at me because I'm going to get those confused the whole time through. Studying both of them, I'm going to say Psalms when I mean 2 Samuel, I'll say 2 Samuel when I mean Psalm. But the big important thing is that we remember who God is. And we remember that he is our deliverer in our time of need. Great hope for the future. Great hope for right now. So join us this Sunday, 8:30 and 10:30, either in person. You can go online to rcfellowship.org to make those reservations, or watch us online, 8:30 and 10:30, both a service with worship music and a service which is our in-person service. However you connect, make sure you join us as we take our next step in following Jesus. Everyone, thanks for watching. God bless.